probably ain't the best spot for it, but it's all good. Empowering doctors. The incentives that drive healthcare systems to get bigger and bigger have spurred them to buy up doctors' practices at increasing rates, with enormous hospital systems dominating the market and reaping the increased revenue from their monopoly power. Small independent practices are left at a serious competitive disadvantage. Under Medicare for All, many doctors would still work for large systems, but other physicians could capitalize on the freedom to practice in other settings without facing a major financial disadvantage. Medicare for All's unified payment system also means that physicians would be able to treat all patients equally. The current system penalizes physicians for caring for Medicaid patients through low reimbursement rates. Medicare for All would embed equality into the structure of the payment system, which would transform care for the poor from an act of charity into a normal function of an equitable health system. The administrative simplification of Medicare for All would also free up clinician time to focus on patient care. Physicians today spend too much of their time jumping through administrative hoops to satisfy the requirements of insurance companies. The electronic medical record, the way we manage the reams of patient data online, is one current scapegoat of this administrative burden. For every hour that a physician spends with a patient, they spend 2 hours doing computer work. One revealing study showed that doctors' notes in the electronic medical record are 4 times longer in America than they are in other countries, even when foreign doctors use the exact same software as American doctors. Why? Why is that? The sheer complexity of our billing system appears to play a large role. The researchers found that in other countries, a doctor's note tends to contain only essential clinical information. It omits much of the compliance and reimbursement documentation that commonly bloats the American clinical notes. Medicare for All could mean less time on computer work and less time on the phone with insurance companies and more time with patients. Empowering nurses and other staff. Nurses and clinical support staff spend more time with patients than any other category of provider in the hospital. However, they've been largely squeezed by the consolidation that is occurring. Medicare for All could help empower nurses and other staff by slowing down provider consolidation and preserving the viability of independent practices. With more employment options, healthcare workers have greater protection from the harmful practices of dominant employers. This could also give healthcare employees more power to secure workers' rights and safe staffing practices, and could bolster the ability of unions to stand up to employers. As with doctors, simplifying our insurance system would also allow nurses to shift their time away from administrative tasks and toward patient care. The experience of care. Medicare for All could help make clinical encounters feel less like a financial transaction and more like a healing provider-patient relationship. Our current system exacts a large toll on the time and psyche of patients who need to spend their most valuable moments deciphering medical bills, arguing with insurance companies, and worrying whether they will be able to pay for recommended treatments. On the other end of the encounter, doctors and nurses face the constant frustration of knowing they're failing their patients because of holes in our healthcare system that are out of their control. At its best, Medicare for All offers an opportunity to help restore healthcare's focus on care and healing. The American healthcare system is too expensive, leaves too many without access to care, falls short in improving our health, and damages the experience of clinicians and patients. Medicare for All seeks to tackle these problems by bringing all Americans into the system with universal and comprehensive coverage, saving money by simplifying administration and reining in prices, shifting costs away from the middle class and the poor through progressive financing, and making the system more accountable to the public. On the most fundamental level, Medicare for All seeks to transform our medical marketplace into a health system where care is guaranteed to all. And that's the end of that chapter. Chapter 4, Designing a Medicare for All program. I'm going to just say it. This is the best motherfucking apple juice I've ever had in my life. You see it's 7 Select, Farmers Grove. This that fucking 7-Eleven Speedway brand apple juice. Man, this shit, god damn. Like, I buy this shit every day. Like, right now they got a sale going on. I don't know if it's like everywhere, but I know here in Ohio, at least in the Dayton area, you know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers is on sale 2 for $3.50. So I'm constantly buying 2 of these bitches. Like, damn, man, this shit tastes like if you like Granny Smith apples, this tastes like you just keep eating. Like I'm biting into a Granny Smith apple that's made up of only juice, of the juice of that apple. Like that's what it tastes like. It's so fucking good, man. Like I don't know how they did it. Not from concentrate, non-GMO, gluten-free, apple juice, pure pressed. Or maybe that's how they did it. I don't know. It's fucking delicious. Fuck yeah, man. Holy shit. Not that I'm trying to endorse their ass, but I'm just like, that shit slap. You had, when you get it, you might see like some brown, but you ain't gonna see it in mine, but you might see some brown buildup when it's still in the store. That's like the sugar, I guess. You know what I'm saying? And like apple pieces or whatever. You gotta shake that shit up. You shake that shit up and that shit will be like that. And then you can drink it. But when you first see it in the store in the refrigerator, you're gonna be like, ew, but it's worth it. Like, I didn't even notice it. Like when I first started buying them, I never even noticed that. And then for whatever reason, I looked at the bottom one day and I was like, what the fuck is that? And then I looked at all the rest and all the rest had the same shit. So I'm like, well, I guess that's part of the juice. I don't fucking know. Like, and because all of the dates are good, like this shit's good till April 17th. So, oh my God. I mean, I swear I just, you know what I'm saying? That's what it feels like. I swear. Anyway, that's fucking delicious. All right. Designing a Medicare for All program. Medicare for All is a very simple idea. Establish a comprehensive, publicly financed insurance program that covers all Americans. But translating that core premise into a final piece of legislation and then turning that legislation into an actual functioning program will require dozens of consequential policy decisions. Many of these decisions might appear to be technical, but in fact, almost all of them flow from a deeper question about which values the American public wants to write into their healthcare system. Health is, after all, the least common denominator, and healthcare is an intimate mirror of our social and political values. Who gets it? How much do they get? What does it cover? How much has to be paid by the recipient? Answers to all of these questions will come to reflect deeply held values. These policy questions will also shape the political debate around Medicare for All. In the words of Princeton economist, I'm going to fuck his name up, but it's UWE. That's his first name. Uwe Reinhardt. Anyway, according to him or her, I'm not even sure, every dollar of healthcare spending is someone else's dollar of healthcare income, including fraud, waste, and abuse. When Medicare for All legislation affects how hospitals, physicians, and drug companies get paid, these groups will naturally have an intense political interest in the outcome. This is even more true for private insurance companies whose entire business model is threatened by Medicare for All. On the flip side, the design of Medicare for All will also shape popular support for the policy. If the coverage offered by Medicare for All is viewed by most Americans as being no better than what they currently have, there's little hope for building a popular movement for its passage. And there's no free lunch in healthcare. Policy choices that make Medicare for All more expensive, adding more benefits, minimizing out-of-pocket costs, paying hospitals and drug companies more generously, will need to be paid far on the back end. At the time of writing this book, there are two Medicare for All bills in the U.S. Congress. The House bill, H.R. 1384, sponsored by Representative Pramila Jayapal from Washington's 7th Congressional District. The Senate bill is Senate Bill S. 1129, sponsored by Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont. Throughout this chapter, we will refer to these bills to give a point-in-time snapshot of how congressional legislation aims to resolve the policy questions that we outlined. This chapter outlines the critical choices that policymakers designing a Medicare for All system will face. As the debate about Medicare for All continues in the public discourse, and as Medicare for All legislation moves through the legislative process, these key questions will arise again and again. Here we detail 7 of the most important policy questions and describe the major policy options on the table to answer them. We then analyze some major strengths and weaknesses involved in each. This chapter then serves as a guide to the Medicare for All policy debate. Question number 1, what benefits are covered and for who? A core tenet of Medicare for All is establishing a program that covers a comprehensive set of services. But which services would be included exactly? There's consensus that Medicare for All will cover at least the basic services covered by both Medicare and private insurance today. For instance, physician services, hospital care, mental health and addiction services, prescription drugs, and emergency services. The more relevant question is what services Medicare for All would add over and above what Medicare already covers. Both S. 1129 and H.R. 1384 propose to add coverage for dental, vision, and hearing, services that many Americans lack today, particularly seniors, given that the current Medicare program does not offer that coverage. One significant question is whether Medicare for All would add coverage for long-term services and supports. Long-term care services are used by people of all ages who need assistance to perform routine daily activities, generally due to aging, disability, or chronic illness. These services are increasingly provided in a person's own home or in community-based programs. When necessary, long-term care can also be provided in nursing homes or other institutions. For many Americans, long-term care is a catastrophic expense. Medicare does not currently cover long-term care, and even though current estimates suggest that 1 in 3 Americans turning 65 will need nursing home care at some point in their lives, not to mention the millions of Americans requiring long-term support within the home, often provided by unpaid caregivers in the family. Nursing home stays can cost up to $100,000 a year, so seniors often rapidly deplete their savings. Eventually, seniors' assets are drawn down so drastically that they qualify for Medicaid, which does not cover long-term care. In fact, even though Medicaid is known as the insurer for low-income adults and children, 2/3 of Medicaid spending goes towards seniors and people with disabilities. The current system, in many ways, pushes seniors who require long-term care into poverty. As you might expect, American seniors have been pushing to add long-term care benefits to Medicare since at least the 1980s. Covering long-term services and supports under Medicare for All would be a marked improvement for the significant portion of Americans who will require these services at some point in their lives. Long-term care is expensive. Depending on the nature of the benefit, long-term care could add hundreds of billions of dollars to the annual costs of Medicare for All, equivalent to about $700 per American per year, according to one estimate. This would represent one of the largest new costs of the program. A second significant question is how Medicare for All would cover healthcare that has been politicized. Services such as comprehensive reproductive care, including abortion, or gender affirmation surgery for trans Americans. Under current law, known as the Hyde Amendment, federal funds cannot be used to pay for abortion. Medicare for All legislation, including comprehensive reproductive services, would require a repeal of the Hyde Amendment. Though providing these services under Medicare for All is critical to ensuring equitable access to reproductive health care, it's likely to be a flashpoint for debate given the politicization of abortion. Policymakers will also need to decide who is eligible for benefits. Like abortion services, care for undocumented immigrants is likely to be highly politicized. Politicians who favor tighter immigration laws often attack undocumented immigrants as a drain on the system, particularly when it comes to healthcare use. However, because immigrants are more likely to be young and in the workforce, evidence suggests they pay more into the U.S. healthcare system than they receive in benefits. Even now, immigrants are helping prop up the Medicare program. Immigrants overall, both citizens and non-citizens, pay more into the Medicare trust fund than they take out, while U.S.-born Americans actually take more out of the Medicare trust fund than they pay into it. Undocumented immigrants are also subsidizing the private insurance system. Undocumented immigrants pay more in premiums than they receive in benefits, an excess contribution of $1,400 per person each year, while U.S.-born Americans take more out of the private insurance pool than they pay in premiums. While a common political narrative insists that U.S.-born Americans subsidize healthcare for immigrants, the exact opposite appears to be true. Nevertheless, care for undocumented immigrants under Medicare for All is certain to be politicized. Beyond broad categories of services, the process by which Medicare for All would decide to cover specific tests, services, and procedures would need to be developed. Under the current Medicare program, a service is covered if it is deemed to be reasonable and necessary. These coverage determinations can be made by Medicare at the national level or by one of its contractors at the local or regional level. These judgments about what is reasonable and necessary generally do not consider either the cost of a service or its comparative effectiveness relative to other options. Medicare for All could build on this current system, or it could add additional requirements for a service to qualify for coverage. Medicare for All would also need to specify whether certain coverage services require patients to get a referral in advance. Though granular, these kinds of details will have an important influence on the day-to-day experience of the program. Question number 2, how much comes out of pocket? And for what services? And for there, I'm going to pause for the cause because I need to smoke a cigarette. So, hold the hell on, dog. Oh, my God. Oh, I can't be sitting like that. You like, I caught you. You an atheist. You just said, oh, my God. You don't believe in God. Shut your dumb ass up. That's not how colloquialisms work, dumbass. I'm not saying any of y'all said that, but I'm just like, for anybody who watches this in the future, you know, because I don't know why motherfucking Christians act like just because you are either an atheist or a Satanist, that anything associated with God, you ain't allowed to indulge in or some shit. Like, that's so fucking dumb. The whole point of being an atheist, well, I'll just leave it at that. The whole point of being an atheist is that, A, we don't believe in your God. Therefore, we don't follow any God doctrine, you know what I'm saying, that says you can or can't do this or that. I can do what the fuck I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I can do whatever I want to do. Fortunately, all I want to do is make America great. Not again, because I'm not a fucking MAGA chud, but I do want to make America better, because right now it fucking sucks ass. But it would be nice if it were better. And I'm at least wanting to be someone who is working towards that, you know, as opposed to just reaping the benefits of those who did it in the past. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to pay it forward. You know what I mean? So I said I was supposed to be smoking a cigarette. Hold on. Hello. What up? Love your content. Thanks, Tristan. Venkatesh, I don't know what that is. Hit the like, says the Robert Escobar Show. I appreciate you, players. Y'all all right. Keep calm and deny Christ. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah, dog. That was really my only goal for today, was to like get some more reading done. I ordered I got 2 more books that I ordered are on the way. And yeah, so even though I do have a habit of reading more than one book at the same time, well, not, you know what I mean? Like I haven't finished one, but then I'll be like already reading another one. Like I do that sometimes, you know. But I'm trying to get out of that habit because I want to be able to like really grasp what I'm reading, you know what I'm saying? Because I only read like, you know what I'm saying, shit like that. You know, that's considered political science. So I only read political science books, history, and science books, and religious books. You know what I'm saying? Just so I can know. You know, I mean, I grew up a Christian, so it's not like I don't know this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like half the shit these motherfucking Christians be saying to me, I'd be like, Ray, you are essentially preaching to the choir. Like, I know what you're saying. Like, you ain't saying nothing different to me. Like, in fact, the arguments that motherfuckers have, like if you be looking in the comments of some of my like Christian bashing videos or whatever, if that's what you want to call it, I'm really just voicing over Matt Dillahunty. But anyway, like if you look at some of those videos and look at the comments, oh my God. The arguments, first of all, the grammatical errors are mind-blowing. But anyway, aside from the grammatical errors, the arguments are just so tired, so trash. Like, the questions alone show that a couple of things. A, that you've never actually sought the answer to these questions sincerely. You know what I'm saying? Not like on your own. Like you just were told a thing and were maybe shown some scriptures that maybe seemed to justify whatever the thing it was you were told, and you just accepted it. Like you didn't, you know. But the funny thing to me, and so that's the first thing, you know. I forgot what the second thing was, but anyway, the comments are just old, and they're oh, that was the other thing. So the grammatical errors aside, yeah, it shows you that they haven't, like I said, they haven't actually thought about these questions before sincerely, genuinely, you know what I mean? And then tried to make a sincere, concerted effort to find those answers outside of a biblical context. You know what I'm saying? Because the Bible is the claim. The Quran is the claim. The Bhagavad Gita, the fucking Torah, like all this shit. These are claims. That's the claim. It's not evidence for the claim. You can't use the thing as the evidence for itself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not when we're trying to, you know, when it makes a bunch of claims, you can't go to the claim to justify the claim. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, no. Bible's the claim. Now we have to go outside and do some investigation outside of the Bible to see if any of the claims made in the Bible comport with reality, you know. But that's the other thing. Like, they don't have any sincere, genuine interest in finding out the truth of their positions. But the other thing is, depending on what the position is, they have it also shows that they have no intellectual curiosity, no intellectual honesty, you know what I'm saying, to try to write off well, basically you're trying to write off science, which is hilarious to me. Like it's ironic for someone who is using the internet and probably on a smartphone, probably inside of some structure like a house or an apartment or maybe their car, all of which is thanks to science. And yet that's the thing you want to write off is, no, that's mumbo jumbo. Like only the Holy Spirit didn't create internet. The Holy Spirit, you know what I'm saying? The Holy Spirit didn't build the house you live in. It's not thanks to the fucking God that you have a house or an apartment or that these things even exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, science is what brought us the ability to have an internet. You know what I'm saying? To even communicate with each other at lightning speed, you know, from wherever we are in the world, damn near. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's thanks to science. Thanks to science, you're still alive and that you didn't die at 5 over some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because science, thank you, brought us vaccines and immunizations and whatnot. what did religion bring? Like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you probably wouldn't even be here if it was just left up to religion. But thanks to science, you get to live beyond 5 years old or some shit. You don't get to die in the first 6 months of your birth if you made it to be born. You know what I mean? Like, nah, it's so ridiculous. They just blow off science. Like, nah, that's just bullshit. Even though you are benefiting from science right now, absolutely are benefiting from the advances and discoveries of science. Like, it's ridiculousness. And the only reason why we don't have more than we currently have, or maybe even the reason that we didn't have all this shit a lot sooner, is because of religion, who has every single time been just always was the one stopping progress. Just every single time, just always was worried that somehow this new advancement in science or technology threatens the church. It's like, get the fuck, what are you so afraid of? Like, if your God is all powerful, all fucking knowing, he knew all this shit was going to happen. What the fuck are you shaking in your boots for? Get the fuck out of here. Embrace technology and science. Like, it's ridiculousness. Like, it's so fucking ridiculous. But whatever, you know. That's not why I got on here to do. I'm just saying, like, I just think it's amazing. It's also amazing that these Christians think I'm going to stop anytime soon. They're like, bruh, stop. Why are you always picking on Christians? I'm like, I don't pick on Christians. I pick on their belief system. I pick on Christianity. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're offended by it, well, then why are you offended by it? You know what I'm saying? Like, quit being so comfortable in your positions. Like, you know how many times I have changed what I believe at my core about whatever it is over just the last, say, 2 years. You know what I'm saying? The guy I am today is not the same guy I was 2 years ago. And that guy isn't the same guy that he was 2 years before that. You know, it's like because I'm constantly challenging my positions, you know. It's like, for the longest time, I thought I was a Democrat. I knew I was never going to be a Republican. Like, that's just out of the question, you know. But, you know, I was raised a Democrat. I was raised a Christian. You know what I'm saying? And I just accepted those things at face value. You know what I'm saying? Well, my mom said it. Everyone in the neighborhood seemed to agree, you know. So it must be true, I suppose. You know, I'm just a child. What the fuck do I know? So I assume the Democrats are the party of the only two parties that we recognize, you know, that care about the average poor person, you know. I'm like, so that's what I was told. That's what I believe. Same thing with Christianity. There's a fucking God. He's always watching you. He knows your thoughts. 10 Commandments, Moses and the flood and Adam and Eve and all that nonsense. All that nonsense. Like, I was taught all that shit, just accepted it, just believed it. Like, everybody else seemed to believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and everywhere you go, it seems to confirm that is the case, and Jesus loves you, and come to Jesus, and Jesus is the answer, and Jesus is the way, and Jesus. It's so fucking inundating. It's inundating and disgusting, because what the fuck, dude? Like, anyway, so I just accepted all that shit, and it wasn't until I started to actually do some introspection. You know what I'm saying? Started to think about shit. Started to read. I mean, it wasn't enough to think about myself and what do I already know, or at least what I already think I know. You know, it's like, if that wasn't enough, I had to, like, I want to know more about X. So I'll go and get books on X, and then I'll read about X, and I have a better understanding of X. You know, and now I may have thought about X differently before I read more about X. Now, my positions on X probably have changed. You know what I'm saying? Because now I have the truth about X, where before I just had an assumption that I assumed was correct, you know, about X. But it wasn't until I read and got the facts that I realized that, oh, no. What I thought about X was completely misguided, you know? So, and in doing so, I've been finding out a lot of shit, which has made me question my position on this, that, or the third. You know what I'm saying? So, let me get another cigarette. So anyway, so now, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm constantly doing that, I'm constantly evolving, I'm constantly learning and trying to apply what I learn to my current perception of reality. You know what I'm saying? To adjust it so that it's a more accurate picture of what's really going on out here. You know what I'm saying? And what's really going on out here is that no, the Democrats are not the party that cares about poor people. That said, neither are the Republicans. There is no party that cares about the average working person in America. There isn't one. Now, there's a group, you know, there are some people who adhere to a particular socioeconomic ideology with which I also am aligned. Because after reading and reading about this particular, like right now, I've been doing a lot of reading about socialism and communism. I've been watching a lot of socialist and communist content by socialist and communist content creators. I've been reading a lot of socialist and communist books by well-known socialists, or communists, i.e. Marx, Lenin. And so far, that's the only ones I've read. I read some Principles of Communism by Friedrich Engels. And of course, the Communist Manifesto. I've read that a few times. And then also What is to be Done by Vladimir Lenin. State and Revolution, I think that's what it's called, by Lenin. Imperialism, the last stage of capitalism, some shit. I think that's what it's called, also by Lenin. You know, so I've read a lot of Lenin, you know, but I intend to get more books by more socialists and communists, you know, just to see, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I right now consider myself an advocate of communism. So if anyone asks me, what are you, Democrat, Republican? I'm a communist. Because that's what I'm studying, that's what I'm learning more about. And right now, it seems like a superior economic system to capitalism. Now, I say that even Marx and Engels recognized that the only way to bring about a socialist or a communist society is through a bourgeois organization of one's economy, which we already have. So we already have a bourgeois society that is capitalist in its organization. With that being the case, that is sort of like what was, I could be mischaracterizing it when I say that is needed or required, but from my understanding, that is sort of like a bourgeois society has to exist first in order for socialism or communism to even come about. You know what I'm saying? Which makes sense, because if you're in a dictatorship, like if you're in North fucking Korea, there's no fucking way you can bring about socialism or communism. It's impossible, you know. It has to be in a society where like you have democracy and that type of shit, rights, or, you know, or democratic republic, you know. It's only in those sort of societies through which society, socialism and communism can arise. So that So that being said, capitalism has its place in American history, in world history. It has its place. It did materially benefit people, you know, and brought a lot of people out of poverty. But due to the inherent contradictions in capitalism, it has created more poverty than it has alleviated poverty from people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has created and will create more and more poverty as the years go on, as neoliberal capitalism specifically continues to be the dominating ideology in this country. And it wasn't always like that. It only really started with Nixon, exacerbated heavily by Reagan, and just perpetuated through the administrations of the Bushes, and Clinton really nailed the coffin with fucking NAFTA. That was a disaster. Yeah, and so thanks to the last 42 fucking years or more of neoliberal capitalism, we've been seeing this rampant homelessness and poverty and decreasing child birth rates, and productivity is skyrocketing, but wages are still staying stagnant. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, the amount of money that the few people at the top are hoarding. And it's literally a hoarder situation, because there's no way on earth you can spend all that money. You know what I mean? That's just too much money. Like, you'll never spend it. Your kids will never spend it. That's just way too much money. Why should you have money that you'll never spend? And at the same time, the only reason you have that money is off the backs of people who will never make ends meet. Like, they're just always trying to make ends meet. You'd be lucky to make ends see each other from a distance. Like, there they go. There go the other ends. I see them. Yo! But to actually meet and shake hands, like, no, that'll never happen. Like, at least very few times and far in between. Because that's just not what capitalism is about. Like, so we need a society that is focused on the people in that society and not just on the profits of a few people in that society. And that's what socialism is all about. Communism is the end state. I feel like communism is the end. Communism is where we're trying to get to. Capitalism was like here. Socialism is here. Communism is here. Communism is where we're trying to get to. Because if we had a more communistic society, there would just all of this underlying anger that was just like sort of festering in the American psyche. I think a lot of that would go away, because a lot of your material, your basic necessities will be met. You know what I'm saying? Like, right now, you're nothing more than a customer in this country. That is it. You are nothing more than a customer. So I don't give a fuck what it is you need. If you need it, it's going to cost you. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only way in this neoliberal capitalist society that capitalists look at us proletariat, look at us working class fucks as nothing more than customers. We're either helping to generate profits for them, or we're customers. Buying healthcare, buying dental and vision care, buying education, buying housing, buying shit that should just be free. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Why does every goddamn thing cost? Especially when you know human beings require A, B, C, and D to live. And you're going to make us pay for all those things? Like, that is fucking absurd. Like, and the fact that a lot of us just sort of accept that and just take it, oh, well, it's like, it's even more absurd. Like, Karl Marx didn't think that this organization, this wage slavery that we have going on, he didn't think it would last that long. He was like, nah, there's no fucking way that the American people will take that shit. Or he was talking about Germans at the time, but he was like, there's no fucking way the German people are just going to let you just keep this going on. Like, this is inhumane. Little did he know, capitalists have, like, they've not only made it so that you won't feel the need to, like, try to rein in some of that power, rein in some of that profit for you. Not only did they make it so that you're likely not to do that, but they made it so that your dumbass, vilifies people who speak against the system that is creating your poverty. Like, they're like, yo, look, all we're saying is maybe check out socialism. And because you don't know anything about socialism and don't necessarily know anything about how capitalism really works, then you're going to defend capitalism, even though that's the reason you're poor, dumbass. It's like, and motherfuckers are like, socialism just wants to keep you poor. Anything you hear negative about socialism, I guarantee you they've not read a single book about socialism. Not a single book, not a single pamphlet, not nothing. Haven't watched a video from any socialists. You know what I'm saying? They're just regurgitating that. That's what I heard on Fox. That. So my parents said that. I haven't actually investigated my own self I'm just regurgitating what I heard someone else say because that's the kind of American I am. I just believe when I'm told by people who are like-minded. I don't have to do any investigation. I don't have any intellectual curiosity. I don't want to fucking know for myself. I don't give a shit about facts, data, stats. I just go off my fifis. Did such and such that I like say this? Well, then I agree. And that must be true because such and such said it and I like such and such. And it's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm so sick of that. Like, we're adults, people. Like, stop just believing shit because such and such said it and makes you feel good. In fact, if it makes you feel good, that should be even more of a reason to go do some investigation to make sure that you're not just engaging in confirmation bias, that you're actually, you know what I'm saying? Like that you're right to feel vindicated. And you know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. So if you hear some information that makes you feel good, like, yeah, I agree with that shit, you look it up, motherfucker. Look it up. Like, just double check, triple check, you know? Because I'm just saying, you got to do your due diligence because these motherfuckers don't give a fuck about you. Nobody on CNN, nobody on MSNBC, nobody on Fox, nobody at the Daily Wire, none of them. Like, they're all part of the fucking establishment, dog. They're all here to work for business and the business class and the business owners. They're just here to make a fucking profit. Fuck you is their ideology. Fuck your working ass. What are you going to do for my boss to increase his profits at the end of this fiscal quarter? You know what I mean? Like, other than that, what are we talking about? Your health, your wages? Fuck you. Fuck you altogether. Like, really, get out of my face before I have you replaced. Now get the fuck out of here. You know, it's like, that's the kind of country we live in. It's like, fuck you if you're not helping my boss get richer because my boss needs another yacht. I understand you can't even afford to have the transmission in your Bronco changed, but my boss needs another yacht. And that's just all you're here for, really. So if you don't like that, we'll have some other poor bastard out there desperate for work replace you. That's how this shit works. That's how this shit works. And we motherfuckers just keep capitulating to that shit. You know what I'm saying? We just let it happen. We just let it happen. And why do we let it happen? Because we agree with it. I forget who it was who said, like, most of us don't even realize what position we in because we too busy seeing ourselves as temporarily embarrassed millionaires. Like, motherfucker, know your place, okay? If you ain't a capitalist now, chances are you ain't gonna be one. Like, the proletariat to bourgeoisie pipeline is not a very good one. I'm just saying, it's not robust. It's not a good pipeline if it exists at all, because it's a whole lot of luck, a whole lot of exploitation to get to the tippy top. And I'm not trying to get to the tippy top. I don't think anyone should be at the tippy top, not without our say so. You know, I'm just saying, dog, like, why in the richest country in the history of the world, with the billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars that just are just here, dog. You know what I mean? Like, that are being amassed by these motherfucking modern day goddamn, you know what I mean? Like these fucking CEOs and shareholders and these fucking other capitalists and billions and billions and billions of dollars between these people and their families and their shareholders. Not to mention what we give the military every single fucking year. Richest country, billions, trillions of dollars everywhere. But yet we got motherfuckers homeless. We got motherfuckers dumb as shit, don't know nothing, uneducated. We're defunding anything that can help poor people. You know what I'm saying? It's absurd. Like, and we just accept it. Like, we just take this shit. We don't even talk about it. We've already written it off as something you don't talk about. Like, don't talk about politics. Don't talk about religion. The two things we need to talk about. Religion is keeping your dumb ass dumb and subservient. It teaches you to don't question your masters. Obey, you know. It teaches you to obey, kneel, take a knee, and submit. You piece of shit. Don't be making decisions. Don't be challenging authority. Don't question it. It's like, nah, what the fuck is that about? Hell no. What the fuck I got a brain for if I'm not going to use it to think? You know what I'm saying? Think critically, you know. I'm just saying, like, and motherfuckers be like, oh, huh, all this coming from the dude with a fucking Satan shirt on or whatever the fuck. And it's like, again, I do it because I know how dumb you motherfuckers are. Like, y'all see some shit on a shirt and judge a motherfucker straight up. You got them already totally pegged just based off what they're wearing. Stupid shit. Like, they're like, oh, but you believe in Satan. I'm like, how many times I gotta tell you I'm an atheist? Like, I don't believe in a fucking Satan. I don't believe in a fucking God. I don't believe in devils, hell. I don't believe in fucking shit. They're just fucking pictures, man. They're just fucking words. I'll tell you what. I'll do you one better. I'll get a shirt that says praise Jesus. Will that make you happy? Like, it doesn't fucking matter, man. I'll wear a shirt that says praise Jesus while walking around saying fuck Jesus. Like, it's just fucking pictures and words, dog. It's just print ink on cotton, motherfucker. Like, that shit don't matter. Doesn't fucking matter. You know, that's what I be trying to, like, that's trying to get through to Christians. Like, you motherfuckers are so narrow-minded, so short-sighted, so myopic in the way you see the world. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, my clothes don't say nothing about what I believe. Nothing. You know what I mean? Some of them do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so my shirt that says atheism, or no, I have a shirt that says atheist. That doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't tell you what I believe. Just tells you I don't believe in God. That's it. That is literally it. Doesn't tell you anything else. Doesn't tell you that I believe there are no gods. Doesn't tell you that. Doesn't say that, that I'm a Democrat or whatever. I don't fucking know. Like, whatever you think an atheist is, it's like, it's not that. Like, I know, I've through watching the shows on the Atheist Experience, I've seen a caller today call in. Well, I was listening to it today, but it was probably recorded some other time. But some dude called in who was an atheist, who was a conservative, who was, who was anti-abortion. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he just didn't believe in God. And I'm like, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're all kind of stripes of atheists out there. We don't all lean to the left. I mean, granted, a large chunk of us do, but that's not to exclude those few out there who aren't left-leaning. You know what I mean? And what even is left-leaning? Now that I done threw that out there, because Democrats are not to the left. Democrats are to the right. They're just to the left of Republicans. That's it. Like, but they're not actually on the left. They don't actually represent the left at all. You know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here. Anyone who thinks Nancy Pelosi gives a fuck about poor people, black people, immigrants, gay people, if you really think Nancy Pelosi gives a fuck about any of these people, you are smoking the most purest form of crack. The most purest. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be fucking out of your brain. Like, there's no fucking shot, dog. I mean, I don't have to mention Republicans. We already know they don't give a shit. They never gave a shit. Like, so we don't even have to mention it. It's the Democrats who purport to give a fuck about black people and kneeling in their kente cloth. Get the fuck out of here with your virtue signaling. Like, I can't fucking stand the Democrats, dog. I can't fucking stand them, mostly because they disappoint me. The Republicans do not disappoint me. You're doing exactly as I expect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never expected you to give a shit about working people, poor people, or generally anyone who doesn't believe in Christianity or whatever. I never expected you to give a shit. And I could really say the same thing about Democrats. Like, did you really, like, let me find a Democrat right now and tell them I'm an atheist. They'll treat me probably the same as a Republican because they're both Christians, you know? It's like both of them are fucking brains shut off when it comes to that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculousness, dog. Those are two things we need to tackle. Because religion keeps you dumb and keeps you obedient, you know what I'm saying? So that you never challenge anything. And if you already have that mindset, then you'll probably be more aligned with the police and more aligned with the state anytime there's some sort of, public uprising, a protest or a demonstration or, you know what I'm saying? Like a riot, like anytime you see the people mad and basically, you know what I'm saying? Like showing like the powers that be that we've had enough of whatever this injustice is. And we're going to show it. You know what I'm saying? You should be on the side of them. Like, because they're more aligned with you than you are with the motherfucking business class. You're more likely to get your head knocked over by the motherfucking cops than a capitalist is. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so your interests are more in line with those protesters, be they black, be they gay, be they trans, be they women, be they immigrants, whatever. You are still more ideologically aligned with them, or at least your socioeconomic interests are more aligned with them than any capitalist. They're just not concerned. They're just not fucking concerned about you. Like, it's all about profits in a neoliberal capitalist society. And it's always like, and it's cute to say power to the people and challenge authority and don't just, you know what I'm saying, question all authority and all that shit. It's cool to say that, but that ain't how you really live. You don't question the preacher. You don't question the pastor, the deacon. You don't question that. You don't even question capitalism. You don't question Trump if you're a Trump supporter. You're just like, nah, he said it, so that's what it is, you know. It's like ridiculous. Or for the Obama heads or the Biden heads, it's like, well, Biden said it, or Obama. Oh, Lord, praise Obama. Fuck Biden. Fuck Obama. Fuck Trump. Fuck Bush. Fuck Clinton. Fuck them all. Fuck Reagan. Fuck them all. They're all fucking war criminals. They all work for capital. None of them gave a fuck about working class people or you specifically. So fuck them all, dog. Fuck them all. That's how I feel. Like they all rich. They all part of the rich owner class. Trump, Biden, Obama. What is different about these three? They're all capitalists. They all represent the rich and the wealthy. Not one of those three people give a fuck about marginalized communities or working class people. None of them. Not one of them give a fuck what they say. You know what I'm saying? Because they all have the same. They all have the same economic interests, and that's what really fucking matters to them. It's not about the people. They'll say whatever to get the people on their side so that they won't actually challenge the shit that's really keeping the poor people poor. What's really fucking you up is what the policies that they're passing. Don't listen to their rhetoric. See what bills they're passing. What does the bill say? Do you even read bills? I don't even know why I asked that. No, the fuck you don't. You don't read bills. You don't read the Constitution. You have no fucking clue what it says. You know the first. You know a couple. What does the Seventh Amendment say? What is that? What is the Seventh Amendment with your dumb ass? That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the ninth, motherfucker? Like, everybody knows the first and the second and the fifth. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, but what's the fourth? Goddammit. Like, yeah, you motherfuckers don't want to read shit. You don't want to know shit. You just want to regurgitate talking points. You don't want to actually have the information. You don't want to actually have the source material that you can refer someone to so they can see for themselves what you're saying and be like, oh, yeah, I guess so. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or they'll at least take it and then double check, triple check just to make sure, you know. But nah, y'all won't do that because it's all a game to you motherfuckers. Politics is a game. Religion is a game and a joke. Let's keep it real. Because for me, personally, when I was in school, if my motherfucking mama was in the classroom, in every single classroom that I was in, you think I'm gonna act the same way I would behave if she weren't there? Like if mom just stayed home or was at work or whatever the fuck and just let me go to school, like regular, you know. Obviously my behavior is gonna be different. You know what I'm saying? Like, but when I know my mom was in the classroom watching me in the corner and shit, waiting on me to fuck up, you think I'm gonna fuck up? Please. And then when I leave the class to go to the next class, and she's just right next to me watching, just making sure I don't say nothing I ain't supposed to say. I ain't hanging around people I ain't supposed to hang around, that I go to the class I'm supposed to go to, when I'm supposed to go there, with the material I'm supposed to be there with. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna be on all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time to talk, dog. I gotta get to class. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's how you live. But that's not how you motherfucking Christians live. Not at all. Because you don't really believe your God is there. You don't really believe your fucking God is watching. You don't really believe he's everywhere at all times, watching you, monitoring your behavior, monitoring your thoughts. Because if you did sincerely, genuinely, truly believe that your God was there watching you and judging you at all times, there's no fucking way half the comments you motherfuckers leave in my videos would be there, first of all. You know what I'm saying? But secondly, half the way you motherfuckers live, you wouldn't be living that way. I guarantee it. If you really thought your God was watching you and judging, you would not act this way. You would not be so quick to call me a fool or an idiot or whatever you want to call me, whatever disparaging remarks you like to leave in my comments. Keep doing it, by the way, though. I'm not telling you to stop. It's doing wonders for my channel and the algorithm. So keep telling me how much I'm stupid or whatever. You're going to pray for me and how misguided and lost I am. And that I just need the Holy Spirit or whatever the fuck trash you want to tell me. Continue to tell me I love it. That shit is yummy in my fucking tummy. I can't get enough. That's why I like them all. If you hadn't noticed, if I hadn't liked it yet, I ain't got to it yet. But if I see it, I'm going to like it and heart it. I don't give a fuck what you say about me because I don't give a shit. You're the delusional one, dumbass. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm smart as fuck. I'm not even saying I'm smarter than you. I'm just saying when it comes to this Jesus, this Christian, this religious shit, I at least do my due diligence. I read the Bible regularly. You know what I'm saying? Regularly. I don't believe that shit, but I read it just so I can. And I'm not even a fucking Christian. I don't believe none of that shit. But I read it regularly just to argue with you sons of bitches, just so I can point out when you're being hypocritical, when you're not doing something that your book is telling you you should not do. It's like, that's the reason I read it, just so I can call you out and be like, what the, whoa, excuse me. That's not what the Bible says. What are you doing? You know, it's like, yeah, that's the only, but I at least read it. Do you read it? You know what I'm saying? I've read books by people who were heavily religious, priests, pastors, whatever, and who deconverted. You know what I'm saying? And that what their story was like. I'm reading other books. I've read the Malleus Maleficarum just to see what because in that book it explains demons. It explains what demons can do. The limitations and the powers that demons have, and all of that shit. Same thing with angels, what angels can and can't do, and how they work, and how demons work, and their limitations, and how those compare to the powers and limitations of the devil and the God and all that. I'm reading all this shit, son, because it's fascinating. But how many Christians invest this much into their own belief system to argue it coherently? Because I swear to God, dude, just take any one of my videos, any one of them, where I'm talking about some God shit, and just look at somebody who's probably a Christian and just read their comments. See if they come off humble, meek, mild, or non-judgmental. See if they come off that way. I guarantee they don't. They're snarky, condescending, and how do I know that? Well, for one, if you're going to pray for someone, you just pray for them. You don't have to tell them you're going to do it, because doing so is either A, virtue signaling, just I'm better than you, I'm going to pray for you, or you're doing it just to dig at me because you think that it bothers me that you're going to say you're going to pray for me. You're wasting your time. And thirdly, it's probably a lie. You're not actually going to pray for me. You know what I'm saying? You're not actually going to do it. And even if you don't give a fuck, because you're talking to yourself. There's no one likely that you're praying to who will answer any questions for you, especially if you believe that God is omni. I mean, even those traits and qualities, you have to really think about what that means. What does it mean to be forever? What does it mean to be outside of space and time, whatever the fuck that means? What does it mean to be everywhere all the time, but outside of time, outside of space, and yet still within space everywhere? You see how you can just make shit up that sounds absolutely ridiculous? I was thinking, you know what? If Superman were fucking real, motherfuckers would be worshiping that motherfucker like he was the next Jesus or some shit. Can you imagine? Can you imagine someone who can fly like that? Just boom, take off flying. You know what I'm saying? And jump tall buildings in a single bound and faster than a speeding bullet and all that shit. If a motherfucker could do that shit wearing a robe and long hair, they'll think that motherfucker was a god. Regardless if they thought he was Jesus or not, they'd think he was a god. They'd already be a fast of the motherfuckers already trying to worship him. You know what I'm saying? You already know. Because so many Christians already admit that, well, humans are just predisposed to worshiping something. I'm like, no, that's just your dumb ass is predisposed to worshiping something. No, but you already know they would, though. You already know. That's all I'm like, so what would differentiate a Superman from a god? well, because Superman couldn't create Earth and matter and all that shit. Your God didn't either. Because you haven't provided a single shred of evidence that your God did any of those things. So, miss me with that. But again, yeah, if Superman were fucking real, please. Like, you gotta be kidding. Magneto, and Magneto was fucking real, dog. If Thanos was fucking real, dog, like, are you kidding me? You motherfuckers be worshiping that son of a bitch. Like, he must work for God. If he's not God, like, yeah, dumbasses. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, and I don't know. I don't even know what point I was trying to make, but basically, that's what my channel's about, man. Like, I'm just trying to get motherfuckers to think, man. Stop just thinking, believing whatever nonsense you pop in your head, like, over the dumbest shit. Like, I thought we had learned back in the 90s. Well, maybe that explains it, because a lot of y'all wasn't born in the 90s. Or I was born in 81. You know what I'm saying? I'm 42 motherfucking years old. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? So I remember being taught shit like, but hold on, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh, right. Don't judge a book by its cover. I was taught that growing up. Were you? Like, were these fucking Zoomers and Generation Alpha? Are these motherfuckers being taught don't judge a book by its cover? Like, because I feel like we need to, like, get back to that, because these motherfuckers thinking that I'm, like, believing the devil or whatever because I be wearing these shirts and shirts that say, I mean, to be fair, some of them are like, it says Satanist right there. Like, so I get why you would think that. But if I also tell you I don't believe in Satan, well, then that would, if you really wanted to know, well, then what the fuck is he talking about? Then look it up. Google it. What is an atheistic Satanist? And there's videos on this shit. It explains what atheistic Satanism is. It's basically we adopt the aesthetic of Satan from the Bible's, you know, or just what people just in pop culture think of when they think of Satan. They associate it with dark colors, black, red, you know, pentagrams and upside down crosses and spikes and you know, crazy eyes or whatever the fuck. Like, whatever you think of a Satanist, it's like we just adopt the aesthetic, mostly just because it looks fucking cool. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that shit looks dope, you know. So that's it. But it doesn't necessarily mean like, but I know for a fact that there's a devil somewhere. I couldn't even tell you where hell even is. Where the fuck is heaven? Like, none of that shit is explained even in the Bible. Like, where the fuck is this shit, dog? Where the fuck literally is heaven? Like, I mean, if you knew more about the cosmos, then that's even an even more pressing question. Like, where is heaven? Where's hell? Don't try to say the core of the earth. Get the fuck out of here. So if hell's on earth, then is heaven on earth also? Get the fuck out of here. Like, are both these places ethereal places? Like, places just out there in the imagination, like your God, your devil, like just made up shits. Anywho, I need to make me some coffee. I don't need to, but I want some. But I definitely need to roll a blizzard and need beach. Damn, did I smoke that whole cigarette? I be going through cigarettes. Ooh, wait. Let me see what your comments is. Metallica, Purgatory, you smoke weed. Yes. Metallica, fuck yes. Satan dances all over the planet. Kenneth, please. I'm starting quarterback of Philadelphia Eagles if Satan's dancing all over the planet, dog. If that's the case, then I guess Santa Claus is fucking real, right? Fucking Peter Pan's fucking real. Like, where are we gonna stop, dog? Like, come on, man. Get the fuck out of here. Grow up. Like, that's my number one, like, retort to these fucking Christians. It's like, bro, grow up. Just please. Like, this whole God belief is akin to basically, you're just basically, this is Santa Claus for adults. Like, grow the fuck up, okay? Like, think about it. Santa Claus, how is he any different from God? He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good, so you better be good. Ain't that a bitch? Like, how's that any different from your God? I mean, I'm just saying. I understand that your God has other attributes. Well, he created this shit and Santa didn't create. He just gives toys. Like, man, shut the fuck up. You sound stupid. Like, you're arguing for two fictional characters Like one of them's more important than the other. I would argue neither are important. There should have never been the concept of a Santa Claus. There should never be the concept of a God. Like, it's just fucking dumb. It's just fucking dumb. If you don't know the answer to something, then the answer is you don't fucking know, you know, until you find out. And then, oh, okay. And even then, that may not be the answer. It might just be the best answer you have or that anyone could have at the moment, you know, until you find a better answer later on. Should there be a better answer? And for now, if you don't have an answer, then you don't fucking have an answer. Don't just posit an answer. Well, if we don't have an answer, then magic. Ghost daddy. We don't have an answer, so magic, dog. Straight up. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's just not, it's not how we do anything. Not serious people. Like, that is not how the world works. That's not how you reason. That's not how you ration. That's just illogical. It's stupid. Like, I'm not saying Christians are illogical and stupid. Some of y'all are, but most of y'all aren't. Like, y'all just won't take that step. Like, just think about shit, dog. Like, stop just believing shit because it makes you feel good. You know, I don't give a fuck if everybody, like, there was a time when everyone on earth thought, or at least most everyone thought that, you know, Zeus was doing lightning or wherever the hell, or there was a sun god who would walk through the, you know, throughout the sky and carrying the sun or whatever the fuck. And it's like, everyone thought that, but that was because they just needed an answer right now for whatever this phenomenon is. And it's like, well, maybe maybe you don't have the ability to acquire the answer right now. You know, but when you do, and every time we acquire the ability to answer a question about something that happened in nature, that immediately killed off the God responsible for that thing, that phenomenon. Every time, like, no, it wasn't that. It's just this. It's just that. It's just plate tectonics, dog. It's electromagnetism, dog. Like, fuck you mean, you know? It's just this or it's just fucking that. Like, there's an explanation. It's not some fucking magic man somewhere. Like, get the hell out of here. Like, it's just insane. Like, and now I've been trying to talk to my mom about this shit. Like, and she expressed to me that I think a lot of the reason why she holds on to the belief, even though I've gotten her at least to question it, is because the people that she loved the most in life believed it and told her that that's what it was. So that's why she believes it so strongly. And some of those people, a lot of those people aren't here anymore. Her mom, her dad, my grandparents, her sister, my aunt, you know, like, these people are gone. But these people she loved very dearly, and they're the ones who believe this Jesus and God stuff. And that's why she holds on to it, no matter how much evidence to the contrary that I can bring forth to her, or however many logical arguments I can make for this shit. At least she's starting to think about it, I think. But yeah, I'm just like, Mom, this, if there is a Christian God, then the only way I can make any sort of sense about why the world is the way it is, and he still exists and is still considered a good God, the only way I can think is if this God is exclusive to America. Like, he's nowhere else. Like, he don't give a fuck about any other country but America, not even all of North America. Like, he don't give a fuck about Canada. He don't give a fuck about Mexico. He only cares about the United States of America. A. B. He only cares about well-to-do white people. Like, majorly speaking. Like, that's the only way. Like, this God of Christianity must be a white supremacist, capitalist bigot. Like, that's the only way I can make sense of it, you know. And if you're not part of the classes that are being oppressed or you know, shunned or whatever, like, if you're not part of the privileged class, then it won't. Then your God will still seem as all loving and kind to you, because, you know, if he ain't impressing you, your wealth seems to be okay, you know. All those poor people out there praying to their God, well, he's not listening to them, because clearly he's not. They're still poor, you know. They're still dying of poor people illnesses, you know, and all that shit. Or just illnesses that are more prevalent amongst poor people than you would see amongst people who have money and the resources just knock that shit out, you know. It's like, yeah, like, so either God doesn't give a fuck about poor people, or he hears them, but, you know, sorry, I'm a white supremacist God. Like, I only give a fuck about people who are classified within that society as white, you know, and who have money. Because if you're a poor white person, I don't care. Like, I'm the God of wealth in America, particularly of the dominating race and wealth. That's the only God that would make sense to me. Like, all right, well, maybe that God exists. You know what I'm saying? Because then that would make sense. Like, then what I'm seeing in the world would make sense. I still wouldn't say that he created the earth or anything like that, because there's no evidence for that shit. I'm like, but yeah, if your God's an America-centric, white, racist, bigoted, fucking class asshole, classist piece of shit, well, then all right, then that God probably exists, sure. I'll give you that. If you want to call him Jesus or Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever you want to call him, that's fine. You know, I'll believe that God exists. But if this God is supposed to be all loving for like everyone and not racist and not a bigot and not necessarily a capitalist, I don't even see how you could be a loving God and be a capitalist. Like, that doesn't make sense. But anywho, if it's supposed to be your omni this, omni benevolent, omni, then that motherfucker likely does not exist, because none of this makes any sense. Like, just straight up, like, how the fuck you know in advance had the option to possibly create a different world where things were different, but you chose this one? That says a lot. Either your God is just fucking demented, you know what I mean? Or he doesn't fucking exist. And that would really look better for you Christians. Like, as long as he doesn't actually exist, he's just this bad character in the storybooks, well, then that's cool. But I don't know why you would look at him as the good guy. Like, what? Like, as far as I'm concerned, like, God killed so many people. He was so angry so many times. Like, Satan barely got a mention. And like, I don't even think Satan was ever once like angry in the Bible. Like, it was all God, God's wrath, God's fury, God's anger. Like, God damn, you know, I'm just like, what the fuck? Is he the good guy here? Or, I mean, he's the one commanding, go kill all the Amalekites. Fuck you mean you didn't kill them all? Motherfucker, didn't I say kill them all? Why did you leave one man standing? I said no, kill them all. Fuck all the Amalekites. Jesus. Sorry, Jesus. You know, it's like, that's, what type of God is that? That's the loving God? What about Lot and the people of Sodom and Gomorrah? Lot and his family. I thought your God was understanding and compassionate. He told Lot's wife, don't turn around. No, he didn't tell her that like 10 times or 15 times. He didn't tell her one time. Don't fucking turn around. But just because you are a human and you have compassion for fellow humans and you hear screaming and death and suffering in the background because God's just going ham on these motherfuckers, and you turn around just because you couldn't help yourself. Just, oh my God. And then bam, stuck like that as a pillar of salt. What kind of forgiving, loving, understanding God would do that? That's fucking weird. I mean, do you punish your kids if you told them one time not to do something? And then because they did it out of just a natural human reflex, you murdered them. Fuck it. Just murder them. Because it's not like she could still live as a salt woman. No, that bitch died. And it's like, damn, son. You know, like, God ain't fucking playing. He said, don't look, don't fucking look. He will murder you on the spot. He ain't bullshitting. Like, so everyone in Sodom and Gomorrah, all the children included, like babies, they just all had to go. It's like, first of all, because I read that story. First of all, fuck Moses, or fuck Lot. You know what I'm saying? So fuck him. Fuck him and his wife. I don't give a shit, you know. But goddamn, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, what is it? Motherfucker come back and say, I couldn't find anyone, Lord. Let me just get like 10 people. Let me just find 5 people. Let me just find 2 people. All right, I couldn't find anybody. Go ahead and kill them all, Lord. And it's like, who the fuck are you to judge who's worthy of not being killed or whatever? Like, fuck Lot, dog. It's Lot's fault, as far as I'm concerned, that all the motherfuckers in Sodom and Gomorrah died, because he could have went to bat for them motherfuckers. He couldn't like, look, God, look, chill out, all right? These motherfuckers ain't as bad as you thinking. At least not these 20 motherfuckers, but it was like, nope, fuck them all, sons. I couldn't find nobody worthy of your grace, Lord. Kill them all, And then he killed your wife. And he was like, well, that bitch shouldn't have listened. She should have listened, It's like a loving God, understand, compassionate, all merciful. Where was her mercy? Where was Adam and Eve's mercy? They fucked up one time, and he was like, so we're okay. I said not to do the one thing one time, and you did it anyway. You're fucked for life, and everyone after you until perpetuity. Goddammit. It's like, damn, dog. Where is the compassion in that shit? Where is the understanding? Where's the love? One mistake. I don't even give a fuck if it was twice. I don't care if they did it 10 times. You punish all of humanity for forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Needing, I guess, to send Jesus here to absolve motherfuckers or whatever hell. What? You couldn't think of another way to do that? You couldn't just forgive them? You had to kill Jesus? Aren't you the rule maker? You make the rules, just change the rules. You said it yourself in the Old Testament, like, man, he was salty he made humans. He's like, gosh, damn, man, why not make you motherfuckers, man? I had to kill you motherfuckers off a couple of times. Like, god damn. So he ain't perfect, obviously. He made mistakes. He lamented making humans. Your God is not perfect. And in the Bible where it says God cannot tell a lie, he'll lie. And that Bible verse is a lie. He lied to Adam and Eve. He lied to fucking Saul. Was it Saul? He was about to told him to go kill his son and shit. Isaac, look, I need to kill him. I need you to kill your son. And he was like, all right. I don't want to, but all right. I'll do it for you, Lord. And then he's like, I just bullshit. Don't do it. I see you one of my real, you know what I'm saying? So you ain't got to kill him. And it's like, is that not a lie? You lied to that man. He thought he had to kill his son. That's not even the first time you lied. You lied to Adam and Eve. Yeah, I'm just saying, bro. The story is bullshit. There's too many inconsistencies. It's scientifically inaccurate. It's a book of fables at best. You know what I'm saying? And the rest is trash. That shit read like I'm reading fucking Sharia law or some shit. What the fuck is it? What you mean women got to be covered up and women can't speak in the church and women can't have authority over men and, all types of shit. Women ain't shit in the Bible, dog. Women ain't shit in the Bible, son. They ain't shit. Nigga, you either property of your father or property of your husband. That's it. You don't have no individual freedom, no individual autonomy, ho. You belong to some man, and you need to go find them. Because if you speak it in my presence, bitch, I'll stone you to death. It's it's just fucking nuts what's in that goddamn book. But that's why I read it. Because I just want to know. I just want to know how depraved the Bible truly is. Because there's a lot of depravity in there. A lot, And for anyone to think that that's a good book, please. Manufacturing Consent is a good book. You know what I'm saying? There's way more truths in that. Howard Zinn's what was the name of that book? I forget, but it doesn't matter. Any book by Howard Zinn is more akin to the truth than the Bible is. Fuck out of here. That shit inaccurate as fuck. If all you had was the Bible and nothing else, you'll grow up stupid as fuck. Just dumb ass shit. Dumb as fuck. I don't know. I couldn't even imagine what kind of person would that would be. You don't know nothing else. No other, you ain't been exposed to nothing else. Only the Bible. Only the Bible. Nothing else. No other books, no other television programs, no even conversations about anything else. Nope, everything you need to know about math, history, science, politics, child rearing and child raising, all that shit. It's right here in the Bible. Everything you need to know right here. It's for that motherfucker would be dumb as fuck. So no, the Bible is not all you need. In fact, I would argue you don't need the Bible at all. In fact, what you need, throw that motherfucker in the trash. Throw it in the motherfucker in the trash, dog. It's better there. It's better served wasting away than rotting someone's intellectual capabilities, someone's intellectual potential, you know. No, that's way more damaging. I'd rather just get rid of the book. We don't need it. It's garbage. It's harmful garbage, like toxic waste or a swab from a cancer patient or from a fucking AIDS patient's mouth or some shit. I don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is trash and it's dangerous. I should just get rid of it. All right, man. I'm about to get off here for real. Thanks for watching, you homies. Hail Satan, because of course, right? I'm gonna holler back. How do I end this? Oh, I'm gonna just hit that. Are you sure you want to stop? Yes.